Hi, welcome to A Moment with Miss Dudley. I'm Miss Dudley, and it's currently 7:40 p.m. Wednesday, December 18th, and this is going to be episode 35, Vlogmas episode 14. And I thought from yesterday's or the last video I did, which covered the best black Christmas movie of all time, in my opinion, it occurred to me that I should do one on what I think is the best Christmas movie of all time. And you got your classics: Frosty the Snowman, A Christmas Carol, and what is the other movie? I don't know if it's called A Christmas Story. And there are different versions of A Christmas Carol too. Then there's the one about Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and so there's just so many to consider. But I went back to something that I remember seeing as a little girl, and I just loved it. And it was the 1966 made-for-TV movie, Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas. And when I think about that movie, I think about, or I considered that there's no way it could be any better movie. I love the movie about Rudolph and all that good old stuff, and even had a little part in there about the abominable snowman. But to me, they ended up, how I don't know, but they came up with the bright idea of making a live TV cinematic version, or live action rather, cinematic version of it, and they hired none other than Jim Carrey to star in the Imagine Entertainment's 2000 release of How the Grinch Stole Christmas. And it was fantastic, absolutely fantastic. Everybody knows that Jim Carrey is a full-body comedian. He uses every part of his being for it, and even under the costume, the Green Grinch costume that he starred as, he was able to give you every bit of the Grinch and then some. Of course, the animated version was not like this. As a matter of fact, the cartoon version, the animated version for the TV, was almost sophisticated and sinister nonetheless, but he was almost sophisticated and graceful in how he moved. But Jim Carrey was an absolute live wire. Everything he showed us, from In Living Color to Liar Liar, Me, Myself, and Irene, he brought to the table in that. And I'm not even sure if Me, Myself, and Irene was before or after that movie, but or Dumb and Dumber for that matter. But it was a blast. It was a blast. We all know guys all know how the plot goes. He's this social outcast, and they give him a little bit of a background too. They give a little bit of the character's background, how he, as a child, he was adopted by these two older ladies, and in school he was outcasted by this chubby, jealous kid because there was a girl who actually liked him. And instead of him being able to, I guess, fairly reciprocate, he was kind of, I guess, sideswiped, and the chubby kid, embarrassed him in front of the girl, and he left the school and just ran from the city up to Mount Crumpet, and never to be seen again. Only sightings, so to speak, of him, and everybody knows him as this mean Mr. Grinch that lives up on the mountain by himself. He and his dog Max. So he comes into town, shows his face from time to time, stumbles upon this girl who's not very impressed with the superfluidity of Christmas, how everybody's just all consumed with commercialism and gift, buying things and just the whole materialism. And she's like, man, Christmas is just not Christmas anymore. And she's just totally disenchanted with the whole thing, and she wants to bring holiday cheer back, and she wants to embrace all of her neighbors, including the one who needs holiday cheer the most, the Grinch. So she braves the mountain, goes up to invite him, and he, waffles a bit, plays coy, and never shows her his true feelings of wanting to join everyone. But of course his concern was, well, is it going to be like it was the last time? Is it, am I going to be teased and taunted? But much to his dismay, the fat chubby kid, mean kid, has become the mayor. And he's in love with a girl still and wants her to marry him. That was once in love with the Grinch when they were children. And her name was Martha May Huvier. And so, he ends up coming down eventually to the holiday festival. And, they pretend to take him in and under their wings and enjoy him. But just say, well, let me go back and say, everyone else seems to accept him. At first they did, it was like, the Grinch, and he's like, boo. And everybody just, flies at the handle, gets all scared, and, but when, they take him all in, they enjoy the holiday festival, but the mayor just can't leave well enough alone and let everybody be fine and enjoy themselves, including the Grinch. He has to bring out something that taunted and teased they used to taunt and tease the Grinch when they were children. And so he pulls that out, causes this big embarrassment for him, and the Grinch snaps, it kind of wreaks havoc amongst the town, and manages to set their big Christmas tree that's in the center of their town square on fire, and then he leaves. And then he hatches the big scheme that's portrayed in the animated made-for-TV film when he gets his dog Max together and puts horns on his head as Rudolph, gives him a red nose. He makes his own self a Santa costume. He makes this motorized sleigh, takes off, and he's planning to stop Christmas from coming. So he gets down there, steals everything, the roast beef and the who pudding he takes. And so, he does that, but he comes across little Cindy Lou again, who's, again, she just wants, everybody to love each other, and, everybody to be, and to embody what they've been telling her all this time that Christmas is all about. Because again, she's already been embarrassed by them at the holiday festival, because again, they tried to embarrass the Grinch, and he retaliated. So this is his final coup. So he stages, he runs into the little girl, gives her a glass of cold water. Sir Anthony Hopkins is narrating this version. I love that man. He's such a brilliant actor. Gives her a glass of cold water and sends her off to bed, and he finishes his coup. Does that, gets to the top of Mount Crumpet where he plans to dump all of their gifts, and realizes that Cindy Lou Who has tagged along, and she's in tow, and she's hidden herself from him. So of course now, when things are getting ready to literally slide off and gravity is taking its toll on the whole sled and the gifts and everything, he has to save it. And like the cartoon depicted, his heart was like 3 sizes small, but it grew, when he expresses his love and care and desire to save Cindy Lou as well as the gifts. His cold heart melts as well, and he saves it, but he has to basically turn on the engine to the sleigh as he's sliding down the mountain back into town. There are no brakes, of course, and when he gets to town and almost crashing, basically, the townsfolk are all out in the square because they've, of course, realized that all their gifts are gone. But what surprised him, even before they left the mountain, before he and Cindy Lou left the mountain, is that they discovered that they didn't have any gifts, but they just began to sing and enjoy each other and celebrate anyway, which is what he thought he could stop. But you know, once that happened, you know, like I said, they got down the mountain, encountered the townsfolk, and he encountered something that he didn't ever think he would encounter, especially after having been embarrassed again in front of her several, you know, earlier that day, or you know, maybe several days before. And that's Miss Martha May Huvier, who still in love with him, but when she sees the Grinch, her heart, you know, is really fluttering, because again, she just saw him the other day, and you know, she couldn't give herself away at that point in time. But basically, she breaks up with the mayor. Doesn't take his proposal, which is what she didn't do the other day when he tore up the town. But she gives him his ring back, basically. And actually, I got it wrong. She didn't break up with him at the little festival. She did that day when they came down the mountainside. She gives him his ring back, and she basically tells him, you know, I'm sorry, dude, I can't accept your proposal, your ring, and gotta give it back to you because there's someone else I'm interested in. And of course, it's the Grinch. And he's like, oh, me? You know, so excited about it. Basically the end. And they show all the townsfolk together, except in the Grinch. Martha May Huvier is by his side, and they're all at this gigantic long table singing. So yeah, that's in the end. So, but anyway, you know, I love that movie. It was a great movie, very holiday fun, and it can teach you a lot about how to treat others, or how not to treat others, and to basically go with what Cindy Lou portrayed. You know, she was open, she was accepting, she was caring and compassionate, and yeah, I like that one more than, you know, how some of the snooty, fearful town folk who wouldn't lend understanding to understand a person before they, you know, were fearful and mistreated the person based on what they didn't understand about him. So, but yeah, I love that movie. It's my favorite version of it, even over the cartoon or the animated version. And so I have to buy it. As a matter of fact, I can't let Christmas go by when it's being broadcasted over and over and over and not buy it. So I gotta do that. But you guys let me know down in the comments which movie you like, which Christmas movie you think is the best of all time in your opinion. While you're down there, please hit like and share, hit the notification button so you'll know when new videos are released, okay? Don't forget, guys, that your life can change in a moment, in a twinkling of an eye. So don't forget to take advantage of those moments that the Lord gives you. Thank you for tuning in. Merry Christmas, happy Vlogmas, and Lord willing, I'll see you on the next episode, guys, okay? Take care, God bless, and bye.